So I'm Lindsay, and I am part of New to You Rescue. I've been working with New to You since 2017.
And I'm Shayna. I'm a foster as well. I've been fostering for 4 years. A puppy mill is a breeder who is breeding hundreds of dogs at a time. I think a lot of people aren't maybe aware that they're purchasing from a puppy mill, and some questions to really ask if you decide not to rescue, which we hope you will. If you are going through a breeder, there are some questions we think are really important to ask. For one, it's, can I see the parents of the dog? Where are they being kept? Where are all the dogs being kept? Typically, these puppy mills are keeping the dogs outside. They don't live in the house with them. It's also another red flag is if they're breeding more than one litter at a time and more than one breed at a time. A lot of them will have hundreds of dogs, all different breeds, living outside in a barn. And so that's what we typically call a puppy mill. And a lot of these parents never leave their cages, they're never let outside. And so it's important for people to understand that by supporting these large-scale breeders and these puppy mills, they're being bred so often that that's where these special needs puppies come from.
One of the things that is the hardest is just that when we do weekly transports, or we participate in taking dogs from weekly transports from Ohio, where there is the largest population of Amish people in the country. They also have a very, very large population of puppy mills. And to give people an idea, a puppy mill is, like Shayna said, where you're having constant breeding of a dog. The dog is primarily used just to breed. They have sometimes crates just stacked on top of each other. The food just kind of falls through when they go to the bathroom, it falls through. I mean, it's a really devastating, kind of traumatizing view when you see them. And we are doing this weekly. We are going and we are driving to these places and picking up these dogs, and they are coming to us matted. Their eyes are, there's eye infections. There's no vet care. I guess the firsthand seeing it is really tough. Like, you have to keep your mouth closed and work with whoever you can work with in order to get them out of there and save them. And I think that's really one of the things that it can be very traumatizing if you're not ready for it. So almost 700,000 dogs are euthanized yearly in the United States. That's shelters, that's owners, and that's not dogs that are,
ready for
older
that.
and ready.
For that, yeah.
It's not. Yes, these are dogs that are unnecessarily euthanized because there are no places for them. The shelters are full, the rescues are full. We are full all the time. There's, barely a time you can call and I'll say, oh yeah, we've got lots of space. The puppies that you see in pet stores are from puppy mills, the majority of them. So they look like these cute little bright puppies. They have to pass a health certification from, the puppy mills, and then they sell them in mass quantities, ship them across the country. But the parents of these puppies are legitimately in, the only rule is that they need to be able to stand up and turn around in their cage. So these puppies have no vet care, no maintenance as far as grooming, no socialization, no interaction. It's just like a very atrocious situation. We need fosters. We are a foster-based rescue. So if someone was interested in fostering, if you go to our rescue page, newtorescue.org, you can look us up on Facebook. You can just go to the actual page. There is a foster application. It's very simple. You fill it out. What we look for in a foster is someone who is able to commit to taking a dog and working with them. The typical commitment for fostering is anywhere between 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the needs of the dog, the age of the dog. Occasionally it's longer if a dog needs to be worked with or socialized at all, or has some sort of medical need. Fosters can take anything from a large breed dog to a tiny little puppy like this. And we need everything, especially large breed fosters. We are very limited with our large breed fosters. So they would just need to have a fenced-in yard so we ensure the safety of the dog.
I think it's important to know too that if you decide to foster, and like Lindsay said, it's usually 2 weeks, everything's provided. So from the rescue, everything's covered. Vetting is covered. All the food's covered. If you need beds, if you need toys, everything's covered. Everything's taken care of through the rescue. So really the only requirement for the foster is really just to provide love and shelter to the dog. And with that being said, like Lindsay said, we have all different kinds of dogs, And it's really up to you as a foster. So if you want to foster 1 dog a year, great. If you want to foster 5, if you want to foster 50, it's up to you whenever works for you and your family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have 3 of my own dogs, and typically I have 1 medical foster or special needs foster. That's what I like to take. But absolutely, I would say the majority of our fosters do have their own dogs, and it helps a lot because dogs relate to dogs. They're pack animals. So when they come into when they come into a home, the dog will kind of help ease the transition from a shelter or a mill or someone else's house and show them kind of how things work in the house. Like I said, I have a shepherd, and he is kind of like the grandfather to all puppies that come into our house. And, you know, a lot of people are worried because they say, like, oh, my dog only does well with puppies, or my dog only does well with female dogs. You pick your foster. You're not just given a foster. You can choose, you know, I can only do little puppies, or I can only do large breed females, or I can only do older seniors. We take everything, and so a foster has 100% choice of what they're taking. Okay. And they get that, they get added to a foster page, and then they get to see all of the goings on in the rescue and what animals are available to foster, and it's kind of fun. It's like picking from a menu, kind of what works for your house.
Yeah. First and foremost, a great resource is Pet Finder. So New to You Rescue is a local Rochester rescue, but there's all of the rescues everywhere on Pet Finder. So if you go to petfinder.com, you can find New to You, you can find all of the rescue dogs in the area, and you can search by zip code, by size, by breed, by age. And then you can go ahead and obviously apply to adopt through there.
Can you apply to adopt strictly through like New to You Rescue on their website or something like that?
Yep, so you can go to newtoyourescue.org and you can apply right there. You can see all of our available dogs, and also, of course, on our Facebook page and on our Instagram. Usually it takes about a week. So we, of course, will receive applications. We take a look at them, and of course, we at the rescue, we have so many different types of dogs, breeds, sizes, ages, energy levels. So we really make sure that when we get an application, that it fits well with the dog and with the family. Then we'll do a home visit. If you have another dog, we'll call your vet, and then of course, we'll do the adoption contracts.
Depending on the age of the dog, sometimes we will take owner surrenders and they've already been spayed or neutered and they're up to date with shots. Any puppy you adopt from us will be up to date with vaccines and will be spayed or neutered. Then also as well with older dogs, we ensure that they have their rabies and they've got all their vaccines up to date. And I would say they just, they come as a complete dog.
I think that's also really important for people to be aware that I think sometimes there's a misconception in rescue that there's always something wrong with the dog or they have medical problems. While we do take medical cases, and we'll certainly talk about that, the rescue always has to disclose if there's a medical issue. Mm-hmm. But for the most part, a lot of our dogs, most of them are really healthy. They're all fully vetted. You get all of the vet paperwork when you adopt. That
including a microchip as well. So you'll be able to follow them and make sure, God forbid they get loose, that you are able to understand kind of when they do get picked up, they will track it right back to New to You Rescue. Okay. If there are like the same thing, like I was saying, like the fosters, and we can always use transporters. We really do need people or if someone's out there with a working minivan or a working SUV that they're not using and want to allow the rescue to use to go do these transports, we do these on our own. We go and we fill our car up with crates and we go and we stop at the different places and we pick up these dogs, and we can always use that help.
Yeah, and I think just raising awareness for rescue in general, educating yourself on rescues, and also if you are looking for a puppy, understanding where they're coming from, encouraging others to adopt. There's such a need, especially in Rochester, whether it's through New to You Rescue, whether it's through the local shelter. There are so many dogs that need a home, and so I think it's really important to spread the word on that.
Time is huge. If people have time, they want to donate. Do they want to help transport? Do they want to help fundraise for us? Are they interested in, reaching out to places and seeing if they'd be willing to donate? Mm-hmm. That type of thing. It's hard for us to actually take anything like concrete and keep it in a place because, my garage is stacked with crates. My husband's not into that, but it's stacked with crates. Yeah. And our room right off our living room is stacked with areas for dogs. But So if you are interested in finding out more about our rescue, it would be new, NEW, number 2, rescue, RESCUE, .org. And we are also on Facebook, we're on Instagram. You can reach out whenever. We're always happy to talk with anyone in the community about the adoption process, about fostering, about how they can get involved.